What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben and JB from JBM Sports Media, and today we're going to be continuing our season projection series for all MLB teams. And today we have one of my rival teams right here in the form of the St. Louis Cardinals. And yeah, let's go through the lineup. Then we're going to go through the rotation and bullpen, and maybe go through some prospects that maybe could make appearances this year. And obviously, one of them is in this lineup right here, right now. Real quick, I'll throw it to JB right off the bat. Looking at this Cardinals 2026 lineup, what is your initial thoughts?
Listen, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough year for them. They're going to be bottom feeders in that NL Central. To be honest with you, I don't see a lot of bright spots this year for this team. I mean, obviously you got Lars Nootbaar, who's been a veteran mainstay on this squad. Mason Wynn, obviously, I'll give him his props. He's been pretty good, and he has a bright future ahead of him. Jordan Walker, to me, is what are we getting from Jordan Walker? I mean, it's been a tough run for him in the major league level. I'm just not really confident in what he brings to the table right now in the outfield. But I mean, it's to me, it's they have to blow this up. Obviously, they're starting to blow it up. They traded Arenado finally. It's a move that we were just all waiting for. So we'll see what this organization kind of does. Right? Let's see if they if they want to go pitching, if they want to go defense, or if they want to kind of rebuild their offense. Let's see where this takes them. But it's going to be a long couple of years in St. Louis.
I do agree. Obviously, you could point at some bright spots in this lineup. I think the number one thing I'm looking at right here is two players, actually. Ivan Herrera, who actually had a very good season with them last year. You kind of saw him take that next step, and in a way, he was outplaying Wilson Contreras offensively to where he took the catcher job. But as we see right here, Pedro Pages is actually going to be the starting catcher for the Cardinals. But the other player that I'm going to be super excited to see for the Cardinals is JJ Weatherholt. Obviously, their top prospect. They think that he's going to most likely break camp, as well as I think that he's going to break camp. I could see this guy being a presence on this team where it's all like, all right, there's a lot of negative moments throughout the years for the St. Louis Cardinals, but this will be a bright spot right here. Looking at other players, like you mentioned, Jordan Walker, it's been very disappointing to start off his MLB career so far. We have to see if at some point this year he'll pick up the momentum or he'll get the ball rolling. But I've been really disappointed seeing what I've been seeing from Jordan Walker because of the hype that he had coming up. But a guy like Victor Scott, I feel like is a solid player, very good contact bat, could play some good defense as well. Everybody else is just plug-in players. Lars Nootbaar, like you said, are just better presence. But you did give credit to Mason Wynn. He's a great defender, a Golden Glove type of defender, and his bat has come around. But when you look at the lineup, there are holes in this lineup that's going to cause them, obviously, big-time issues in 2026. So, let's move on to right here, their starting rotation. And this is where I think it's the complete red flag. I mean, they're bullpen as well, but this is a big red flag. Their starting number one in the rotation is Matthew Liberatore, and then they brought in Dustin May from the Red Sox via free agency, Andre Palante, who had a very down bad year, Michael McGreevy, and Kyle Leah, which, it's not good. This is not a quality rotation whatsoever. I mean, what are your thoughts on this rotation right here built by the Cardinals?
I mean, your number one's Matthew Liberatore. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. It's garbage. I mean, this is straight. This is just going to be batting practice, I think, for a lot of teams. And I think a lot of pitchers are going to be injured with whiplash watching these balls leave the park. Dustin May, I'd like to see how he does. I feel like there's not going to be a lot of pressure on a guy like Dustin May this year. I feel like this is just come into your own, get your stuff straight, and honestly, you're probably playing for a free agency year, and trying to get your bag and go to a team that maybe could be a contender.
Right.
I don't see him obviously, being there as a mainstay. I don't think the Cardinals are going to lock him up. I think he's going to be one of the more interesting pieces in their rotation. Michael McGreevy is another guy that, I think they had a lot of hype with, and I'm not too sure what we're going to get out of him. But Andre Palante, from the year he had previously, you thought there was going to be, some type of bright spot coming out of him and being maybe a 1 or a 2 for this squad. And that's just not what it's been right now. And now he's in the middle of this rotation, and I just don't see what type of positivity he's going to bring in for 2026, because his 2025, like you said, was absolutely just not good. And like I said, to round out the rotation, Kyle Lee, I mean, he's the fifth guy, right? He's the fifth guy rounding out the bottom of the rotation, and it's going to be unfortunate to see this team is going to have to go to the bullpen in the fourth or fifth inning a lot, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think obviously I think their only bright spot is possibly if they get Dustin May going on early and he, has some quality starts to begin the year, then you could possibly think about bringing some more prospects, trading him. So that could be a bright spot. But other than that, yeah, it's tough when you look at this rotation. There's not going to be a lot of quality starts throughout the year. Even though they do have reinforcements coming in through the farm system, but right now at their current slate, opening five, yeah, this is not good. This is a complete red flag, like I said. Real quickly, we're going to get into their bullpen right here. And it's headline with, I guess they have two closers at the moment. They have Jojo Romero, who I do like, and they have this other one called Riley O'Brien. They did bring in Ryan Stanek, Justin Bruhel, Matt Svensson, George Soriano, Gordon Graceffo, who's actually playing for Team Italy in the WBC. This other than Jojo Romero and possibly Ryan Stanek, this is not the best, man.
No, and not for nothing. I think George Romero is going to get dealt at the deadline. I just don't see what's the point of wasting him. He's going to give you quality outings, but I mean, if you're going nowhere and there's no future right now for this ball club in the next 3 to 5 seasons, which I think is something that's going to actually be a thing. I don't think they're going to be competitive for at least 3 to 5 years. George Romero is good as gone. Ryan Stanek was absolutely brutal as a New York Met. I mean, absolutely atrocious towards the back end of his career as a Met. So let's see what he could do in St. Louis now. Riley O'Brien as a closer, I'm not really too thrilled about that. I think George Romero should be the closer, and maybe you slide in O'Brien. If they wind up giving Romero, they wind up dealing Romero at the deadline. Listen, I think he may even get traded before the deadline. Honestly, they may be so far out of it that they may just get rid of these pieces before. But I'm not too sure what they're going to get from Justin Brewell. There's just too many question marks for this team right now. And obviously, we're going to get into the win projection, and I don't expect it to be very high, to be honest with you.
Yeah, before we do get into the win projection, I guess we could, shout out some positives. Obviously, they have built a great farm system with Chaim Bloom now taking over as GM there in St. Louis. So he's kind of trying to do the same blueprint he did with the Red Sox. And they do have a loaded farm system. They have J.J. Weatherholt, who we do expect to crack the opening day roster, Liam Doyle, who maybe could be a September call-up, but his current projection is 2027. Joshua Baez, who they did get in the trade for Ryan Helsley with the Mets. I think we might see him at some point this year. Durangelo Centeja, who obviously is the switch pitcher that a lot of people were talking about. They got him from the Brendan Donovan trade with Seattle. Looks like that he's only going to be a right-handed pitcher now, so he's not going to be a switch-handed pitcher no more because he was getting crushed when he was a left-handed pitcher, so that's probably a smart decision. But looking at these prospects, it looks like they do have a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel type of vision right here, because you could have some bright spots if we do see some of these guys come and let's say they do perform.
Yeah, and they got a bunch of guys in the top 100. That's a beautiful thing. That's where you want to be when you're kind of dismantling your team and trying to get ready for these guys to be the future. So I can see guys like Reynald Rodriguez coming up, like you said, Joshua Baez. It looks like he's already going to be on the major league squad, and JJ Weatherholt. I mean, he's number 5. That is fantastic. You got to be thrilled about that as an organization. Hopefully, that could just translate into him being a really good major leaguer. Hopefully, for the next couple of years. Like I said, you have to hope that some of these guys are going to be what they are expected to be as moving into the MLB team for the Cardinals. Hopefully, they could strike gold with some of these guys and give their organization a positive outlook.
Yeah, I think obviously they need a little bit of some juice into that lineup. So seeing guys like Weatherholt at that point and Joshua Baez, I think those are the two names that I'm going to be anticipating to see at some point this year. I think guys like Rynel Rodriguez and Leonardo Bernal, I think they're a little bit away still. So we're just going to see how that plays out. But Weatherholt and Baez, I do expect to see in the majors this year. But as always, it's time for our FanDuel over-under win projection for the St. Louis Cardinals in 2026. And the current line is set at 69.5 for the St. Louis Cardinals. Over-under. JB, what do you have?
I'm going under. I don't see this team winning 70 games. I literally see them winning 64. I think they go 64-98. I think it's going to be a brutal year. Like I said, it's going to be tough. That stadium actually may be empty for the first time in a long time, where the fans just maybe aren't into it as much now because they know that this is going to be a long stretch of bad baseball. but I don't see this team eclipsing 70 wins this year, bro. Maybe call me crazy. I think they win 64.
I actually am in the same trajectory. I'm going under. I'm going to go with them going 65 and 97. So right there with you, basically just one more win. I do think it's going to be a struggling year for the Cardinals. I think they haven't really experienced baseball like this in quite some time. They're at Busch Stadium, but I do think they're on the right trajectory. It's going to take a few years, yes, but they have built some decent talent in that prospect system. It just depends how many are going to hit and how many are not going to hit. But yes, I'm going to lock in the under at 65 wins for the St. Louis Cardinals in 2026. Obviously, FanDuel, as always, if you guys want to sponsor us here at JBM, we'll greatly appreciate
Absolutely.
that. But what do you guys think about the St. Louis Cardinals? Let us know in the comment section. Are you guys over or under on their 69.5 game win total projection? Let us know in the comment section. As always, continue to subscribe to here on JBM Sports Media. Follow us on TikTok and IG at JBM Sports Media. Till next time, we'll catch you guys later. Peace.